All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of To the Max Outdoors. Max and I have been wanting to do a series of videos so we could create a playlist and put it on the channel and actually have a video series from start to finish of something. And we've come up with a couple different ideas that we're going to run through this summer. It'd be some small food plots and a garden. Garden is near and dear to me. I've grown up gardening all of my life, from great grandparents to grandparents, my parents, and me. Here at my house, I have a garden that is roughly 28 by 42, and then I grow some corn and potatoes outside of the garden. In this specific video series, we're going to go all the way from seed. We have seed here for cucumbers and zucchinis, and then I also purchase plants, also like pepper plants, tomato plants, Hungarian wax pepper, Inferno they're called, and then green peppers. I purchased them from a local high school, and then there's a local greenhouse. It's not worth me growing those from seed when I can buy them for, I don't know, $4 for a 6-pack of them, and I'm supporting a school and it's teaching the younger generation of kids how to garden. So this video series here, what we'll do here in this little first episode is I'm not going to show you everything I do, because everybody gardens on their own terms and differently like I do. But in this first video series, we're going to just generally run down how I place my potting mix in my little trays to get my cucumbers and my zucchini started. I don't start them in the ground. A lot of people do, and I probably could, because these will get grown in a raised bed, actually in the flyer planters in my driveway, just to keep out of the garden. In my garden, as you'll see in the garden, I till it up in the fall, and then I'll plant like a buckwheat or a rye or something in the fall in my garden, and then I'll let the deer do what they want to do, and then that'll overwinters, and I till it back under. And right now we're tilled back under. It's May the 10th right now, I believe, and I feel comfortable about being able to plant. I feel like we're out of the hard, heavy frost. We might get a random frost here or there, but I can water it down the night before, and I feel comfortable about being out of the real cold weather. But as you'll see here in this video also, I tilled my garden under. It had see, this past year it was rye. It had some rye and some clover, and I had some clover from a food plot, but I've tilled all that back under. The sun has beat on it for 2 days. We've had 2 75+ degree days. Everything that's laying on top that got kicked up is now dried up. I actually plant underneath plastic. I will go through here and lay down a layer of black plastic. The reason I do that is we're busy people. Max plays baseball pretty much every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I work on Sundays. When he's not playing, I try to, but nevertheless, he plays every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, let's say May through September at least. So I don't have time to get in there and pull weeds. I work 12-hour shifts. I got 2 different jobs that I do. There's not a whole lot of free time for me. It's usually dark to dark for me weekdays. So my mother-in-law does help, and my wife helps, and Max helps, but it's just not enough time in our days. But we all enjoy the end result, whether it be salsa, sauce, green beans, corn, whatever it is that we do gather up and put up, can, whatever you want to call it, freeze it, steam it, boil it, whatever you want to do with it. We all do enjoy that part of it. So if you have any questions about me growing under plastic, that's the reason why I do it. I recommend it for somebody with a lifestyle like me. I think it does a wonderful job. I've never had a bad experience with it. Sam, if you're watching video, you'll know, you've seen my tomato hornworms. I don't understand where these tomato hornworms come from, but I'm telling you, I can pull a half of a gallon and a half bucket of them off. Something in my vicinity here winters tomato hornworms, and I'm not sure what it is, because my garden's tilled 12 to 14 inches deep at least 4 times a year, twice in the fall and twice in the spring. I don't understand, unless they burrow down 2 foot or so. I'm not sure, but if anybody else has a problem with tomato hornworms, let me know. And I do rotate in my garden every year. I rotate size of the garden for my planting. I never plant in the same spot, never. But anyways, what I'm going to do here, like I said, I'm going to start my cucumbers. Now, we pickle a ton of cucumbers. We're a big cucumber family. We dill pickles, hot pickles, sweet pickles, you name it, bread and butters, we do it. We all enjoy them, and that's actually one thing we'll eat all of what we can in between the off season. Let's call the fall and winter months. Like right now, it's May the 10th. We may have 2 pints left of bread and butters. We annihilate them. Squash the same way. We fry it, make zucchini bread. Well, I call it squash, it's zucchini. We eat all of it up pretty quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start these, and I've got there's 24 individual trays right here. 24 plants is a lot of cucumbers once they get to cranking. Now, I've always grown these. They're national pickling. I like them. They're shorter, fatter. They grow quick. They set a bunch at once, and it allows you to make one huge mess in the kitchen when you go to can them to make pickles out of them. I really enjoy them, and they're a 55-day cucumber, so they're pretty quick. If you happen to get hit by rabbits or groundhog or deer or something, it's no big deal. You can replant them again and go at it. What the squash does here is I'm going to plant half the squash now, and in about 2-3 weeks I'll plant half more of them. I like to spread I keep calling it squash, it's zucchini. I'll spread it out. What I grow there is a Black Beauty. It's a firmer, creamier zucchini. We fry them a lot. We dredge them in egg, flour, and fry them a good bunch, and then my wife makes a ton of zucchini bread, so we'll try to spread that out over a 2.5-3 month period. But anyways, simple general planting right here. All I'm going to do is I got a bag of this Vigoro potting soil. It's indoor, outdoor potting soil down here. We'll open it up. And then I'm just going to take a couple handfuls of it. Try to put my trays close together here and make as little mess as possible. I'm just going to try to fill all the containers up as best as I can. And then I'll try to fast forward through this part here. I think you get the general concept. All we're going to do is fill these. All we're looking to do is to fill these little pockets in these trays 3/4 of the way up. There again, these are cucumber seeds. They don't need to be extremely deep. They just need to have some dirt over top of them. And what I'll do with these once I get them planted is I'll transfer them in and out of the house. If I see it's going to get down 50, 60 degrees one night, I'll put them off in the garage. I'll water them of an evening, put them back in the garage, and then in the morning when Max goes to school, he'll set them out where they get probably 2 to 3 hours of sunlight. I'm not going to put them out where they get pounded on the sun all day. Plus, it gives Max a little bit of responsibility. I think all teenagers need a tad bit of responsibility. Make them a little bit better person. We need some better people in this world, as we all know right now. I'll pick up a little bit here of what we spilled. Guys, leave me some comments here. If you enjoy seeing this kind of stuff from my channel, drop me a comment. Let me know. Like I said, we're trying to create playlists so people can go back and watch an entire video series. I know the channel name's To The Max Outdoors. This is outdoor stuff, and it's part of our life. We enjoy this as a family unit. Plus, it gets us outside. All right, so there we go. We got them all filled up. I don't know how well you can see that, but take my word for it, they're all filled up 3/4 of the way. Now this potting soil is moist. Comes in a sealed plastic bag. It's probably 72, 73 degrees out right now. It is moist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the seeds out of the bag, and then I'm going to take 2 seeds per container. Right or wrong, I'm not sure. It's how I was taught to do it, and that's how I do it. Now, putting 2 seeds in there, what'll happen is in say 2 weeks, when I go to transfer these into the raised bed, I'll nip the lower one off. If there's one that looks bad, I'll go ahead and nip him off. But if both of them are good, I'll leave both of them, and I'll just train both of them to climb up on the fence, trellis, whatever you want to call it. So that 1 pack right there, I've put 2 seeds in a dozen trays right there, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 left over. So I'm just going to randomly put 1 in each of them here. So we'll have 3. The majority of them is going to have 3 seeds in them. Like I said, cucumbers usually grow pretty well. You can get away with it. I'm going to do the same thing for the other 12 trays. This time I'm going to go ahead and put 3 in them, because this packet here obviously had, let's see, 12. It obviously had 25, 26 seeds in it. So pretty simple, pretty standard stuff. If you've never gardened before or thinking about gardening, honestly do it. I mean, you can do it out of containers if you don't have the room space. I'm fortunate enough that I have plenty of property to do whatever I want to do, and I don't have neighbors. I do have deer. My garden is fenced to an extent, but deer's going to get in if they want in. Groundhogs, we keep pretty good control of the groundhogs. I try to keep them out. Rabbits, I hate to shoot rabbits. I really like them being around, so I do my best to fence them out. Now this packet here had a bunch of seeds in it, so we're going to go back and put 3 in all of them now. Cucumbers are a thing that you don't need a whole bunch of plants off to get a whole bunch of yield out of. You will get covered up with cucumbers if you get a bunch of plants, which is a good thing if you like pickles like us. Honestly, we're not big fresh cucumber eaters for whatever that's worth. We're not. We might eat 10 cucumbers a season fresh. The majority of them get turned into pickles. But let's see if we can get that up there and get you to see it. Here you go. We have they're about a 1/4 inch down from the top, and this tells us they need to be about a 1/2 inch deep. So all I'm going to do is take my finger, just barely going to press them. I have the potting soil in these little cups somewhat firm. I'm just firming them down by pushing the seed down in them. It said they needed to be a 1/2 inch deep, so I'm going to firm the potting soil and push the seed down at the same time. Pretty simple. Go back into my potting soil bag here. I'm going to cover them all up. Without making a big mess like I just did. Now, when I do this, I personally want my trays to be 1/8 of an inch higher. I want my potting soil to be about 1/8 of an inch higher. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to go around the pocket of each one of those, and I'll press them down in there. And as you water them, it'll compact itself also. But that way right there, I know that the seed has good soil contact. I know that I won't have anything exposed, so I can go around and pull all the bigger sticks, rock out of this potting soil. I don't know what's junk. If you get poison ivy, you'll probably get poison ivy out of a bag, poison oak. Honestly, I think wherever this stuff's made, they just go in and whatever trash they can grind, they grind and mix it with compost of some kind. I'm not real sure. But boom, there you go. There you go. We're all covered up. Right there you have it. Now we have 2 dozen cucumbers planted right there. Well, there's 2 dozen pockets with at least 3 to 4 trays in them. We have a bunch of cucumbers planted, and if the majority of these set, that'll put you generally anywhere from 60 to 85 pints of pickles. That's a bunch, but that's what we consume, so that's what I try to shoot for every year. Next ones here is these zucchinis. I'm just going to take and clean up some of my mess. Now these zucchinis, like I said, we're just going to do half of them now and then half of them in a couple more weeks. So these need to be 1 inch. So I'm going to eyeball 1 inch in here. I'm going to fill these up. Now you're going to see me plant all these seeds. You're going to say, well, you just said you're only going to plant half of them. Well, half of what I plant today is going to go to me, and then half of what I plant will go to my grandfather down the road. This turkey season has been really rough for me. Any of you guys that are turkey hunting, this video is probably going to get put out in turkey season. Just a little small talk here while I'm working. Turkey season's been really extremely rough on me. Not real sure the reason why. I've seen multiple coyotes this year, way more than I ever have in my local area. I'm in north central part of the state, which coyotes are here, but they're not normally that common. Or should I say widespread. They're not normally that widespread. We usually get that random roaming pack of 2 or 3 of them. But I don't know if they're just on my property this year or what the deal is, but seems like every time I get a decent setup, I'm getting overrun. So look forward to some trapping videos this fall. Max and I are going to put a big time hurting on some coyotes. Even though they're not worth money, I'm going to do it just to rid myself of them. So here we go. These are called summer squash. We call them zucchini. They're a black one. I'm going to start off by putting a seed in every one of them because I don't count the seeds in a pack. I just fill all my trays, and then whatever left I randomly put them in as they go. There we go. I've got 18 of them planted, 18 seeds, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 left. So we're going to get randoms here. We'll do there we go. Planted. Now they need to have about 1 inch of soil on them, so the same thing. Go back down here in my potting soil bag. Cover them all up. I'm shooting for about 1/8 inch high with potting soil in my little trays here. And these little trays here, I just reuse these. These are what I bought from the local greenhouse in the school last year. What came plants, I just keep them, knock the dirt out of them, reuse them. So there we go. We're about 1/8 inch over the rim with potting soil. There you have it. Don't want to litter in my own yard. Boom, there you have it. Now the next step to this is I have a little tray here that I got when I bought plants from the local greenhouse or the school, I'm not sure. Somewhere along the line I've scrounged it up. Boom, there you go. I'll take this. As you can see, it's full sun out today behind me. I'm going to soak these down pretty heavily with water. I'm going to set them out in the sun. This evening I'll lightly water them again, probably take them back inside. I'll do that for roughly 2 weeks. I think all this stuff is about a 7 to 10 day, germination, 7 to 10 days. So roughly in 2.5 weeks, I will transplant these into the raised beds. I'll do another part of the video series on that. But like I said, this video series here is just getting seeds in potting soil in our little transplant pots. And then in this same video, I'll show you just generally how I put the plastic down, spike it down. My potatoes are already planted. I planted them on St. Patrick's Day. That's how I grew up doing it. That's how I did it. This year here, we had about 2 inches of snow on us that set on top of these. Granted, they weren't busted through the ground yet. They had about 2 days of 2 inches of snow. And we had 7 days that it had froze overnight, like harder than a frost. I mean, the top part of the ground was froze. And you'll see here later on in this video that I have 3 to 4 inch potato tops already. Somehow they did not rot out on me and I survived. But those are planted a foot deep, at least a foot deep. And they're rowed over and they're hilled over. They're probably under 14, 16 inches of dirt. But you'll see the potatoes, and then I just plant 3 rows of corn. We're not huge on corn, simply because it's too easy to go buy at the store or a roadside market. You can buy, hell, $5 will get you a dozen of them. But we do it just to do it, play around. They more or less feed the deer and coon, to be honest with you. My wife uses the stalks for fall decorations. I just do it because I like it. But so that's this part of the video. I'm going to water these heavily, leave them out, not in direct sun, but in the sun. I'll put them back in tonight. We'll pick up here when we go putting the plastic on the garden. All right, here we go. As you can see here, I got my black plastic. This is brand new plastic. I do usually get 2 to 3 years out of the same sheet of plastic. I'll put it down, spike it down, and then in the fall, I'll roll it back up. And then what I do is like, say I do tomatoes on my left side and peppers on my right, I'll just flip-flop those pieces of plastic. And then that's what I was getting at earlier when I say I rotate. I never try to plant the same species of vegetable in the same hole to try to keep bugs and that kind of stuff away. I don't know what the science behind it is. It's just what I was taught over the generations of me learning how to do it. But I'll just show you how I generally spread this plastic out. As you can see here, the garden was just tilled 2 days ago. It's nice and it's fairly level. I still get rocks. I've been gardening here this is my 8th year in the same spot. Good Lord, I don't know where the rocks come from, but I keep tilling them up. But anything big, I'll kick out as I'm putting this down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this out in the middle, cut it to length, then I'll spread it out, and then I'll put my other piece in. I don't know that I'll get exactly the 28 by 42 out of it because I don't think my plastic is wide enough, but with all this COVID nonsense going on, and I actually bought this September of last year because I was scared I wasn't going to be able to find it. And for anybody that's wondering what this is in my garden right here to the, well, can you see it? Yeah, barely. Anybody wondering what this is? A lot of you old timers will appreciate that. That's actually a freaking Bell Atlantic telephone junction box of a sort. That son of a gun's got a bird's nest of little small wires in it. It used to be a streetcar track down here. You can see the gate over there that goes over into our other piece of property. It used to be a streetcar track that run the local north central part of the state. It's never in operation in my existence. Grandfather tells me stories about it, but I'm not sure if Bell Atlantic was for the streetcar track or if that was actually how you talked on the phone. I don't know where the wires are. My septic tanks down, or my septic tank domes, the leach beds are down through here. Hell, they're 2-3 foot deep. I never hit them. I don't know what that's for. I just can't bring myself to dig it up because it still says Bell Atlantic on it. But not very many of you have that in your garden. But nevertheless, I'll shut up. I'll stretch it out, cut it off, spread it out, peg it down. We'll go fast through this. I'll fast forward the video. There's no sense in you watching it, but here we go. Well, just realized you can't see the whole entire garden when I do that. There we go. Now you can see all of it. There you go. There's my initial rollout of the first piece. I'm gonna go get my spikes because I forgot them. We'll get back. All right, here you go. You're in the garden with me on the end we're going to cut. I know you can't see it, but up on the other long end of the garden, I've got it pulled up. I've got it pulled up somewhat up the side of the fence over there. So I'm just going to take me a little extra here. I'm going to try to grab it fairly tight. I'm going to take a decent sharp knife and I'm going to cut this plastic. And I'm going to cut it as it's doubled up. That way I cut a shorter piece all at one time. I said sharp knife. I guess I didn't mean that I had a sharp knife. I meant that you should have a sharp knife. All right, there we go. There we are. Now we're cut for the length of everything. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to unfold this. I'm going to pin my corners in and then we'll stretch it out to the center. So let me get you relocated. All right, there we go. Got the first piece spread out. I've got it pinned on the on both long ends. All I'm using is an 8-inch garden. I don't know, they're composite, some kind of plastic. They're twisted. They've been serving me pretty well. I just bought another pack of them this year, but somewhere between, I don't know, 20, 30 of them gets me through. Pin your 2 first corners as close as you want. Come back in, pin the corners again, lay your next piece out. This part here goes extremely easy if you have 2 or 3 people. Max is in school and the wife's working, so I'm a one-man show today. We do got a little bit of wind, so it'll fight you a tad bit. Just generally get it stretched out, get it cut, unfolded it. I think this plastic is unfortunately only 10 foot wide, so we might have to go with 2 pieces. I don't know, or maybe I'll leave some bare up top, I'm not real sure. This is 4 mil plastic, the thickness is 4 mil. I found that works out pretty good for me. I can get a couple years of use out of it. Like I was talking earlier, when I cut the holes, I just cut an X to plant in. Like say I do potatoes or tomatoes behind me and peppers over here. Next year I'll just flip my plastic over and do tomatoes on my opposite side that I did them all last year. I keep my crops rotated that way to try to prevent any bug problem. But the only thing I have a problem with is the daggone tomato hornworm. All the other ones I don't really have a problem with. I do use a little bit of Sevin Dust. I know some people are for it or against it. I don't know. I do use some of it. But generally, when you grow on this plastic, you don't have a huge problem with bugs. Not real sure of the reasoning for that. Maybe they can't get up through the ground. I don't really know. But like I said, this works out for us, and this is how we're going to do it. And I'm just going to generally show you the rundown of how to do it. I'm going to come in back here 1/4 of the way and pin this one back. Try to pick me a decent spot, let the wind quit for a minute. Makes it a lot easier if you have another person. Try to pull that thing up, drive it down in the ground. Trying to put that one in a place I didn't till. Maybe I'm trying to put it on a rock. All right, that's generally the process. That is just temporary down just to get our sizing. I'll repeat that process for the next 2, probably 3 pieces, and then I'll come back down and pin it down. Every 2 to 3 foot, I'll come back down and pin it down, and then the seams, I'll do 3 or 4 down the seams. My experience, as long as you get the edges pinned down pretty good, the centers really don't pick up a lot of wind as long as you got the edges down. So I'll get back with you when I get it all put down. Okay, so as you can see behind you here, I've got all my plastic put down. Again, this is 4 mil thick plastic. It works out pretty well for me. Right now, my 8-inch composite spikes, landscaping spikes, are about every 3 to 4 foot around the perimeter of it, and then up the center here, they're about every 6 foot. Now, what I do, once I get everything planted, since this is brand new plastic, once I get everything planted in here, is I'll come back with some 6-inch, what they call landscaping staples. They just look like a giant 6-inch long staple with about a 2-inch mouth to them. Once I get everything planted, I'll come back down and I'll try to put those about every 2 foot. One downside that I could see possibly happening to a plastic covered garden like this is if you were to get a good windstorm, you could potentially come up. I'm not covering the edges with anything. I'm just going to leave it freestanding. So like I said, I will come back and I will get pretty aggressive on those staples. I don't want it tearing anything up, and I want to reuse this plastic 2, maybe 3 more times. All right, so wrap this segment up here. I'll show you. I've got a this is a 26 foot long row of potatoes. There is roughly 25 pounds of seed potatoes planted right there. They are just a russet potato. That's kind of what we like. There again, this will probably yield in that 35 to 60 pound range, depending on how good of a grow season we have and how good this soil is. I've never planted potatoes in this spot personally. This used to be part of my garden, but I've condensed the plastic part of the garden and opened up more out here for corn and stuff that I don't want underneath the plastic. So as you can see, there's the potatoes. Like I said, these were planted St. Patrick's Day. And I'll get down here, and as you can see there's my hand. Those are 4 to 6 inch tops on those potatoes already. So I got lucky there. That snow and frost and freeze that we had didn't rot anything. And then over here I have 3 rows with about 3 foot in between them. I'll plant 3 rows of corn right there. Like I said, we just plant corn because we like it, not because we eat a bunch of it. The majority of what we eat, we buy, like I said, a roadside stand or whatever. But that's general. This out here, I'll run the lawnmower through it. When Max push mows the front yard, he'll come down here and push mow these rows here. Potatoes are super easy to get to here. Run the tiller back down the sides of them, hill them back over. You're not fighting anything. The corn, we can run the push mower around the corn, never have an issue. Mama's dogwood tree here that we bought her for Mother's Day about 3 years ago got horned up by a buck this past year. Well, actually 2 past years, he's horned this little tree up, our little yard buck, and I think he got it. I think he killed it. So we're going to try to nurse that thing along while we're fertilizing this. We'll nurse this dogwood and see if we can't bring him back to life. But anyways, a general recap of this video series that we're trying to create. We're trying to show you how to make some sustainable food here for yourself. We believe in it. Put cucumbers in trays, zucchini in trays, put them in dirt, tilled our garden, got it nice and loose, and we've got our 12 inches nice and loose. We got our plastic put down, showed you we got potatoes in, showed you we're going to put corn in. The next video clip that'll belong to this series will be after we've planted everything, with the cages around our peppers, with the cages and stakes in around our tomatoes and our corn. We'll have our corn planted by then too. So stick with me, and I hope you enjoy this video series. And like I said, I'm going to post these. There'll probably be 4 to 6 of these videos, but when this first video comes out, please give me a comment. Let me know what you think about growing under plastic. Let me know what you think about me planting cucumbers or zucchini in a transplant tray, so to speak. Tell me, do you plant your quick things, cucumber, squash, pumpkin, watermelon, do you plant those in a little tray and transplant them, or you just hard plant them right in the dirt? Let me know all this stuff. And most, but not least at all, if you could, give me a comment. Do you guys want to see a video series where we go from seed or plant all the way through the season and then into the jar? We'll show you how we can pickles, how we can green beans, how we make sauce and peppers, how we make tomato sauce, how we make salsa. Let me know, give me some feedback here. I'd love to know what you guys want to see. Like I said, we do this stuff routinely. If it helps one person out, great. Or if somebody comments something that helps me out, that just made this 100 times more worth it for me. So again, part 1 of many to come. I'm going to put them all out as I get them processed, and then when the last one's done, I'll make a video series playlist out of it, and hopefully people can learn from it, or like I said, people comment to me and I'll learn from it. I'm not scared to learn. So thanks for watching, and let me know.